Hello and welcome to the Student Support Portal. The portal is an online community of students, educational professionals and parents of students with a disability who want to keep up to date with the latest developments in assistive technology. Today we are joined by Ted Pratt from Andrea Communications. Ted, you're very welcome.
Thank you very much, Michael.
Ted, can you tell us a bit about yourself, first of all?
Yeah, okay. I've been working in the DSA sector for around about 15 years, I suppose. I started off managing a DSA supply company, actually, called MKC Computers. And we were sourcing and helping companies to develop hardware and software to make the lives of people with SPLDs easier to cope with, I suppose. And I got involved with some very special products at the time, and some of those were for Andrea. And that really is essentially how I got to know Andrea. I used to supply their products, basically, and they were very good products, and I was quite happy with them. And later in my career, I had the opportunity to work for Andrea, and that's essentially what I do now. But we can tell you a bit more about that in a little while. So I helped to develop special products such as the SG100 microphone, which was used at the time with digital recorders. And that went on, as time went by, into a new development that, again, I can talk about in a bit more detail a bit later on. It's a new product that was called the SG110M microphone. But I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we move on through the interview.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about Andrea Communications. I believe they're a relatively new company and that they've broken away from the main company.
Yeah, it's sort of an offshoot of Andrea. It's still got the brand name and all the brand name rights, but it's still sort of owned and run by Andrea, but a different section of Andrea. But Andrea as a company was formed way back in 1934. It's a company that's based in New York, and they've been manufacturing headphones, headsets, and microphones now for over 40 years. So we've got a very long pedigree of manufacturing good quality products. We have produced communication products for the space industry, the aeronautical industry, and we were indeed involved with the early manufacture of TVs in the States in 1939. So anyone who wants to find out more about Andrea can simply go to the Andrea webpage. It's andreacommunications.com, and there's lots more information there.
Okay, and Andrea is obviously an American company, so what's your role here in the UK? What is it you do for them?
Okay, well, essentially, I've known Andrea, as I said, for a long time now, over 15 years. And I'm now the business development manager for Europe for Andrea Communications. So essentially, I assist with sales and marketing strategy, but I largely concentrate on the DSA and schools sectors in the UK.
Okay, and you've mentioned DSA. So for our viewers, the Disabled Students Allowance would be an allowance that students would get when they're 18, transitioning into university.
Indeed, yeah.
So the products that you have, and we're talking about communication devices, microphones, headsets, yes. Why would a student need those products?
Well, a student would need those products really to help them with software packages that they're using, essentially packages such as in the DSA market anyway, Dragon, where you have to have extremely good quality speech in order to get the transcription right in Word. If you don't have top quality audio, then Word would produce a lot of errors. So you have to get the audio as good as you can. And in fact, we recommend the use of USB headsets So it is essentially a completely digital audio card that's included with the headset. So you're not relying on any of the audio circuitry in the laptop or the desktop.
Okay, and you mentioned Dragon, the Nuance product,
Yes.
which is a text-to-speech application. But what sort of students would you think would be using that type of application?
What sort of students? Well, students who essentially, some students can actually speak better than they can write. I know that sounds a bit strange, but they can. They like to get their thoughts down very quickly, and they can do that through talking. And they can also edit the text afterwards. So it saves them having to type. They might have lots of problems with spelling, for example, whereas Dragon can correct those errors that they might make. Yeah.
Okay, so the advantage of using a high quality headset is that the input is much more accurate then for transcription.
Oh, for certain, yes. And although it's essentially used for software such as Dragon, they can be used for any software that the student might be using for their course, any software. Yeah.
Can you tell us who would be your typical client? If it's a student with a learning difficulty, who is it that you would expect to purchase the headset?
Yes, indeed. It would be a student with a learning difficulty. Certainly in the disabled student allowance sector, a lot of students would use the Dragon software, as I've mentioned earlier. And it's very, very important, and I can't emphasize this too much, that you need an extremely good audio input there. And all of our headsets have the Dragon 6-star rating. And that rating is a test that Dragon do to certify different manufacturers' headsets. But also children in classrooms who need to use headphones or headsets with any class-related software. A lot of our products have special connectors, for example, for iPads. It's called a TRRS connector. It just makes an easy connection with one single plug. Yeah.
Okay, and you've talked a little bit there about the use in schools. So if there are any Senkos or learning support coordinators watching this,
Yes.
Is there an option to get those headsets into schools?
Oh, for sure. Yes. In fact, I didn't mention it earlier, but I'm mainly concentrating on the DSA and education market sectors. So yeah, lots of opportunities, I think.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about the product cost. Obviously, you're in a quite competitive market space with headphones and microphones. So how would your cost compare to others?
Well, the cost varies enormously because we have such a broad range of products, which are essentially headphones, headsets, and microphones. And a new introduction that we've recently had, it's a self-contained public address system, which is handheld, and we call that device the Mica Pro. So essentially, our prices would range for the EDU-175 headphone, for example, which would certainly be less than £10 in the UK, to the Mica Pro, which would be in the region of £220 end user price.
Okay, £10 is a very reasonable cost for a headset of that quality.
Oh yes, yes. The quality is second to none. We use very large speakers in our headsets and headphones.
Yeah, well, I know you were kind enough to lend my wife one of the Mica Pros, and she used it in her Brownies group.
Indeed.
I can certainly see how that would be very useful for anywhere where you want to talk publicly, but don't want to shout over a crowd. So I would certainly recommend checking that out.
Indeed, yes.
How do you see the future of technology, Ted? Are there any developments coming up in microphone or speaker technology?
Yeah, lots of things are happening in the technology. People are having to innovate, obviously, as the market requirement goes on. But we feel that over the coming years, there will be an even greater requirement for children to use headphones or headsets in the classroom. use of such units will ensure that students have far less distractions from others in the classroom and hence be able to concentrate more on the tasks in hand. For students who need to work in very noisy situations, for example, we have just introduced a brand new headphone, which is an active wireless headphone. It's called the ANR950. Now that unit will sell in the UK certainly for under £54, so it's an extremely good price point, and it's very, very comfortable with exceptionally good sound quality. In fact, I have one here. I don't know if it can be seen, but quickly, this is our ANR 950 head unit. But the nice thing about this unit is that there are effectively two on-off switches on it, so you can use it just as an ear defender, which is active and it cuts down all the background noise, or you can then switch the headphone on as well and just have the noise reduction working in the background while you're listening to any class-related material, music, or really any source, any audio source.
Okay, and that looks to be a wireless unit. So, for example, in a class of 30, they could all be wearing those headsets and listening to a feed from the class?
Indeed. Indeed, it's a Bluetooth headset, so it's using Bluetooth. So any device that has a Bluetooth built in, it will connect to that.
Okay, and I'm assuming then if it does noise cancelling, any students with sensory issues, that would be quite useful for as well in the classroom setting?
Indeed, yes, it would. The reason for introducing this product, for example, we've been working on that product now for over 6 months, 6 months to a year actually. And there are other units around, but they tend to be very, very expensive, such as the Bose units, for example, which are in excess of £220, £250. They're very expensive. So we wanted to bring the price point down, but still keep the quality high. And I think and also make the units very comfortable and adaptable for people with different size heads. And I think we've done that well. The unit, as I say, is extremely good. It runs, there's an internal battery, so it's charged up via USB. So any USB source will charge the headphone. So yeah, it's just an example of one of the products that we've recently developed. We're working on other things now. I can't say too much at the moment because they're sort of, they're a little bit secret. We think we've got a product that's going to be extremely good for the education sector, but hey, watch this space.
Ted, can you tell me how your business has grown over the past couple of years?
Yeah, indeed I can, Michael, yes. We have a worldwide market, so have organically grown over many years. We always try to innovate and bring ideas to market when required, and we develop new products into different market sectors. But now, I have to say, we do concentrate largely on the education sector, and we have specific products developed for the education market, where the product needs to be very tough, durable, and well designed, as well as offering very good value for money. And I think, in all honesty, we do that. We do offer good value for money products that work very well.
Okay, and if a parent is watching this and they're thinking those headphones that you demonstrated would be useful for a child with sensory issues, or a school wanted to purchase a number of them for a classroom, where would they go to purchase those? Well,
in the UK, we've set up a dealership network throughout the UK, so there's lots of dealers all over the UK, and those dealers are supplied by one main distributor in the UK. It's a company called Douglas Stewart Education, and they can be contacted on 01252 612 806. So anyone who wants to purchase would just dial that number and ask for the Andrea ANR950 or other products. Say they might see some other products on our website that they like. And Douglas Stewart Education will certainly give them all the details of their closest dealer. The other thing I could say is that all of our headsets, all of our products actually, are also available via any DSA equipment supplier in the UK.
Okay, and we do have a list of those suppliers on our portal.
You do indeed.
Ted, you also have a group on the portal for Andrea, which you're pasting up information on all those different devices. And parents and students, teachers, can they contact you on that portal?
Of course, yes, I'd like them to. My email address, in case anyone wants it, is epratt, that's EPRATT, at andreacommunications.com. And yeah, I'd be pleased to hear from anyone.
Great. Ted, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate you taking time to talk to us on the portal.
Yeah, thank you very much, Michael. Thank you.
This interview was part of our Publishers and Manufacturers series of interviews. If you'd like more information on the products that were discussed in the interview, please go to the portal Assistive Technology section and start a conversation. Thanks for watching.